Hello guys and welcome to Raspberry Pi Tutorials. Today, while I'm waiting for my Raspberry Pi, I'm going to show you an introduction to GTK. And GTK is a graphical toolkit that allows you to create programs much like Genie itself. So like LXDE is based on GTK, so it's this type of like user interface. So I'll show you what we're going to make. It's basically a really simple. It's just a window with a button that says hello world, and then when you click on that you get a message box, and that's it. So you may have noticed that I've changed the way I do comments to a hash. That's actually the proper way that you're supposed to do it. I used to do it like this, like this, and I like that because it was green, but that's not really the proper way, so I thought it's better to change and not get you guys into a bad habit. You can actually change the colour schemes on Genie, so I'll look into that on a further tutorial. But anyway, okay, so we need to start by importing the PyGTK and GTK libraries. PyGTK is just like a wrapper around the GTK library that makes it more accessible to Python. We have to say that we require a GTK version of 2.0. That doesn't really matter, you just have to put that in there. And then we make our class called Hello World, and then in this class we have an init, and this is where we set up all our objects that are going to be on our window. So we need to create a new window for a start, and then we do some like basic setup. So we set the window's title, set a size of 400 by 400 pixels. We center the window, so we do self.window.setPosition, and then gtk.win_pos_center. That's just like a GTK constant. So while I'm showing you these, actually, yeah, it's a good idea to have like the PyGTK reference manual open for stuff like this. So if we go to gtk.window, then we'll see, if you go into here, you'll see all the different things you can do. So like set title and so on. And then if you go into there, you'll get a bit about that and how you're supposed to use it. But yeah, so center the window, and then we're going to set the border around the window to 10. You have to, when you do graphical user interfaces, you have to connect events on the graphical user interface to functions that you've wrote. So when you use the X button on the window, for example, so that sends a signal called destroy, and then basically what this code does is it says send that destroy signal. When we get that, we're going to run self.quit, which is a function we've wrote down here, and all that does is runs gtk.main_quit, and I'll explain a bit more about that later. Okay, so the next thing we do is create a new button with the label hello world, and that's just GTK button, and then you put your parameter as hello world. And then similar to what we did before, we're going to connect the button's click event to our btn hello world_clicked function. And I'll show you that in a sec. Now we've done that, we add our hello world button to our window, and then we have to say show the hello world button and show the window. Now that actually doesn't happen. Well, that does happen, but that doesn't get shown until the gtk.main is run. And basically what that does is it basically handles the events and then gives them to the appropriate event handlers. So that's that main bit covered, and then we have here outside our class, similar to what we did in PySnake, you make an instance of your class and then just run like the main function in that. So and we've talked about quit as well. Okay, so we've talked about everything else apart from this hello world button. So this is the event handler for the click signal, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to create a message box. And GTK.dialog modal means that it's going to be it's going to stay on the top, sort of. So once this is shown, you can't click back into focus on the other dialog. Even though I can resize it, I can't actually click any of the controls on it until this gets closed. Oh, and by the way, this stuff here, this self widget and data, you don't really have to worry about that for now, but it has to be there for any of the event handlers that you put in. And self is a reference to the class. Widget is like the class that called the event handler. So, for example, on this, the widget would be the button that's done it, and then data is anything that's been any like information that's been sent along with that signal. And I'll show you this in the message box response a bit later. Okay, so we're going to create a message box. We want an OK button, and the main message is going to be hello world, and then we can add some secondary text, and I've just put by Liam Fraser under that, and then we're connecting a signal from the message box. Now, message boxes work a bit differently. They send a response signal, and then what you have to do is you have to find out what that response was and then run the appropriate thing that you want to do. So we'll connect the response signal to self.messageBox response, and then show our message box. Okay, and this is where we're going to use the data. So a function that handles the response signal from a message box, and then basically the data is going to be whatever the response was. So if you click the OK button, then the response is going to be GTK response _ OK. And then if that's the case, if they've clicked the OK button, we want to hide that message box and return focus back to the main window we've got. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Have a play around and see what you can do, but you're definitely going to need to take a look in this reference if you want to do anything useful. But yeah, I hope this has been interesting, and I hope you enjoy putting this code together. I'll attach this code in the description so you can check it out if you don't have the time or you seem to be having problems with yours. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week, guys. Cheers.